We built the most powerful rocket in history, but it turned out to be useless for deep space. Secret material tests from 2026 have confirmed it. The Starship's hull simply cannot withstand the impact of radiation. Instead of providing protection, the steel becomes a source of radiation itself, incinerating everything living inside. Mars is closed, not because of money, but because we are trying to cross an ocean in a paper boat. The collapse of the Starship began not with a failed launch, but with a silent analysis of composite panels returned after long-term exposure to deep vacuum. In February 2026, a classified report from an engineering group in Boca Chica recorded an anomaly. Carbon fiber and 301 grade stainless steel used to assemble the Starship HLS demonstrate a catastrophic loss of structural integrity under the influence of galactic cosmic rays, GCR. Officially, we talk about radiation shielding, but engineers use a different term: secondary cascade shower. When a heavy iron nucleus with an energy of several giga-electron volts hits a thin steel shell, it doesn't just pass through. It explodes inside the metal's crystal lattice, generating an avalanche of secondary neutrons and gamma rays. We built a ship that becomes a source of hard radiation itself, hundreds of times more dangerous than open space. An internal SpaceX memorandum, codenamed Thermal Barrier Phase 2, describes the degradation process of polymers and seals in a record 90 days. This is the time it takes for a Starship to turn into a flying sieve. The problem lies in the so-called radiation aging of materials. High-energy protons literally knock atoms out of the molecular chains of fluoroelastomers used in valves and airlock seals. By the time it reaches Mars, a journey of at least 6 to 7 months, the ship's airtightness will be held together by nothing but a prayer. Data from 2026 shows that the rate of micro-crack formation in welds under the influence of secondary neutrons increases 12-fold compared to Earth-based tests. This is a technological dead end. There are simply no accessible elements in our periodic table capable of withstanding an interplanetary transition without accumulating critical fatigue in a matter of months with such a massive structure. Elon Musk sold us the dream of Mars using terms from the IT industry, but physics isn't software. You can't update it with a patch. Metallurgy in 2026 has hit a ceiling. To protect the crew from a secondary neutron strike, the Starship's walls should not be 4 millimeters of steel, but at least 80 centimeters of dense, hydrogen-containing polymer, or a half-meter layer of water. According to SpaceX engineers' calculations, such a modification would increase the ship's dry mass to 1,500 tons. This means that a single mission to Mars would require not 5 to 10 orbital refuelings, as previously stated, but over 150 tanker launches. The economic model of colonization has collapsed under the weight of the necessary biological protection. The entire Starship project, in its current form, is an attempt to cross the Atlantic in a paper boat, ignoring the fact that the ocean is made of acid. It is interesting to observe the financial reports of NASA contractors in mid-2026. While SpaceX continues to post promo videos, Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman have begun an emergency transfer of budgets from habitat module projects to autonomous orbital factory projects. Why? Because data from deep-water sensors and probes that have passed beyond the L1 Lagrange point confirms it. Biological life is a local anomaly, protected by Earth's magnetic bubble. We are protein machines, calibrated to a pressure of 1 atmosphere and the deflection of 99% of cosmic radiation by a magnetic shield. The moment we step outside the threshold, the very fabric of reality begins to dismantle us at the atomic level. Experiments on the ISS, which is under the protection of the geomagnetic field, were merely an illusion of safety. Real space begins where Earth's magnetism ends, and there, our 2026 technologies look like stone axes. The Martian Myth is the greatest marketing bubble of the 21st century, maintained for the sake of capitalization. All these terraforming plans ignore a key technical detail. The lack of a global magnetic field on Mars means that solar wind will blow away any artificial atmosphere faster than we can create it. But the main threat is the regolith. Analyses from 2025 to 2026 confirm that Martian dust is so fine and electrostatically charged that it penetrates any filter, corroding astronauts' lungs and destroying precision mechanisms. Investors are beginning to realize that Musk is building not a transport system, but a giant laboratory for studying the limits of human endurance, fueled by government subsidies. In the corridors of the Johnson Space Center, it is already being said directly. A manned flight to Mars in the current technological paradigm is a one-way trip with no technical possibility of surviving on the surface for more than 30 days. If you look at patent activity in 2026, you will notice a sharp shift. All developments in the field of regenerative life support systems, LSS, for deep space have been frozen. Instead, there is explosive growth in radiation-resistant AI modules based on silicon carbide and telepresence systems with quantum delay. The elites have realized the expansion of biological humans is over. We have reached an evolutionary barrier. Our future in space lies with avatar probes made of monocrystalline ceramics that will broadcast images of dead worlds to us. Space is an environment for semiconductors, not fragile organics. Why is this being kept quiet? If SpaceX admits tomorrow, we aren't going anywhere for the next 50 years, Tesla stock and dozens of related contracts will collapse like a house of cards. The Artemis program is now being frantically rewritten. Instead of a jump to Mars, it is turning into a project to build a robotic outpost on the moon. The 2026 scenario is a quiet dismantling of the Martian dream. We will hear more and more news about the need for uncrewed testing and additional study of the effects of microgravity. These are technical euphemisms for admitting defeat in the face of radiation physics. Scaling this problem, we come to a frightening conclusion. The universe around us is not just empty. It is biologically aggressive. It is not intended for complex carbon-based organisms to leave their incubator planets. Perhaps this is the final answer to the Fermi paradox. Civilizations don't perish in nuclear wars. They simply hit the radiation wall of their star system. We see the Great Silence because all other intelligent races have also discovered that their ships are too heavy to protect and their bodies are too weak for the interstellar darkness. In 2026, the concept of the astronaut officially begins to die. It is being replaced by the concept of the operator. We will sit in VR headsets, controlling machines that will dig regolith for us. This is not a triumph of the human spirit. It is the surrender of biology to the laws of particle physics. We are hostages of our own chemistry, and all the trillions of dollars thrown into the furnace of the Starship project will not change the fact that high-energy iron nuclei pierce Musk's steel as easily as a bullet pierces paper. The existential dead end for humanity lies in the fact that we have developed intelligence enough to understand the scale of the universe, but remained trapped in bodies that crumble from a single direct look from that universe. GCR is not just background. It is the immune system of space that prevents us from leaving the playing field. We are an accidental splash of organics that imagined ourselves the masters of space. But in 2026, technical reports are putting everything in its place. The final diagnosis of the Starship's failure will be written not in SpaceX offices, but in the silence of emptied laboratories, where radiation-mutilated material samples scream of our helplessness. We are prisoners of a gravity well and a magnetic shield, and all that remains for us is to build ever more sophisticated digital surrogates, imitating flight in a place where only annihilation actually awaits us. What is more important to you? Continuing to believe in marketing slogans about the colonization of Mars, or admitting that our only salvation is the preservation of Earth, the only place in the universe where physics doesn't kill us every second? Are you ready to admit that Mars is a beautiful utopia for attracting capital, or do you still believe that a steel tin can will protect you from the nuclear fire of the stars? Write in the comments. Are you for continuing the spending on the Martian bluff, or for redirecting resources to save our biological home. The time for realization has come, and the reports of 2026 leave no room for illusions.